Okay, to make a red pepper pork or beef meat dish, you need a pork or beef meat, you need the red peppers, you need garlic, you need onions, you need low sodium soy sauce, or just soy sauce, normal soy sauce is fine, or salt, one or the other. And that's about it. Let's put them together. Okay, I'm going to eat it with the rice. Right now the rice is being cooked in the rice cooker, right? So it's very easy to make rice actually. You just buy one of these rice cooker, add water and rice, about this amount of water, 2 cups of rice, and let it cook for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, and that's it. The first thing you want to do is chop up your meat. And you might want to wash the meat. Make sure you don't splash it everywhere. Okay, just lightly wash the meat. This one is a pork tenderloin. Okay. Once you wash it, get a knife to cut it. A sharp knife. Okay, now we're going to take this and soak it in soy sauce or salt, depending on what you want. I'm going to soak it in a low sodium soy sauce. Okay, so we're going to put the meat. This is the chopped up meat. We're going to put it in a dish bowl like this one here. Then add a bit of soy sauce. You can use a regular one or low sodium, doesn't really matter. This is just to add the flavor to the meat. Okay? And you might want to use your hand, make sure your hand's clean, and just mush the soy sauce into the meat. Okay, so the meat part is done now. The next thing we want to do is to chop up some garlic, as you can see here. I'm using between 10 to 15 garlic. This is just to add flavor to the food. Next thing is you want to cut the red pepper. Make sure you clean it first. You just want the outer part. You don't really need this unless you want to save this for seeds. Okay, now once you have the red pepper in half, you want to cut into strips. Now you have strips of red peppers ready for cooking. You also have pork meat that is soaked in soy sauce, ready to go. Then you have the garlic. Now you might want to add onion. This is optional, but usually for me I love onion, so I'm going to add that into this mix as well. Okay, so to make the red pepper pork meat or beef meat, you need to cut it slices of peppers. I cut it longitudinally. Garlic. Actually, this garlic is going to be split into 2. I'm going to cook another dish. I'll show you too regarding that. Diced meat with soy sauce and the onion, and that's it. And then of course, if you want to add a bit of salt, you could do that if it's not salty enough for the red pepper. And that's it. All we need now is a plate, a pan, and we're going to add some oil, and we're going to fry the whole thing. Okay? This is, I guess you could say, stir-fried red pepper pork meat dish. Okay, I'm going to turn high and then add vegetable oil or corn oil. About 1 or 2 tablespoons is fine. Let it heat up for about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. When you start seeing smoke, that's a bit too long. Okay, And when it starts heating up after a couple minutes, you want to add garlic in there, and it will sizzles. And already you can smell the food. It tastes or smells really good. Okay, now we're going to add the garlic. You hear the simmering. We're starting to turn light brown. And then you want to add some onion. Now this is optional. This is just to add flavor and smell, especially smell, to your food. So I'm going to add some meat. So add some pork meat in there that I dice up and add a soy to it, soy sauce. So it looks pretty good. Now if it starts to look black in, let's say, in water, okay, when it starts to dry up, that's what I mean, you want to add a bit of water, you know. Okay, add water to this. Will allow the meat to cook evenly. What you want to do, of course, is to cover it. Okay, so we're going to let it sit for 10 minutes like this. Okay, set it to medium high. Okay, you want the meat to cook really well. So I'm going to cover it and leave it for 10 minutes. Make sure there's enough water to let the steam cook the meat. Okay, we're going to leave this for 10 minutes. We'll come back and see if the meat is well cooked. Now you can see, I can see the steam coming up already. This is a good sign that there will be enough heat to heat the meat evenly and hopefully cook it really well. And then the last step, of course, is to add the red pepper. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. Notice the steam's coming out. Now, another thing about adding water to the meat in the onion and garlic and oil is that it not only cooks well, it also makes the meat, you can see, very tender. Okay, so that's the secret to cooking meat as well. If you add a bit of water, the meat is going to be tender and not hard to chew on. Okay, so that's a secret when you're cooking meat as well. So now we're ready to add the pepper. There we go. Okay, now I usually add a bit of salt to give the pepper, red pepper or green pepper, doesn't really matter what kind of pepper you want to add, a flavor. So I'm going to sprinkle some salt, okay, onto the dish. Okay, note we don't have to add too much salt because already the meat has the soy sauce. Okay, and then again we just want to stir it, and that's about it. Once you stir it around, let the sauce of the meat, right, the juice of the meat, move around the red pepper, the onion and garlic as well, and that's pretty good. And then what you want to do again is to cover it for another 5-10 minutes. Really depend on how you want to cook your red pepper. I would usually it usually take me about another 5 minutes. Okay, you don't want it to cook it too long because, like I said, if you cook too long, these red pepper or any type of vegetable will lose some vitamins. So you want it as fresh as possible, but you want it to be cooked well as well. Okay, so you have to find the balance. Don't cook it too long; it will get very soggy. But don't cook it too early; then it won't taste. It would taste too raw. Okay, so somewhere in between, and if you cook too long, you lose some vitamins in the vegetable, like the red pepper. Alright? Okay, so after 10 minutes, it's done. Wow, that looks really good. You can see that. Okay? Now let's just pour it into a plate. Wow. That looks really good. Healthy and good. Can't beat this. Right. Yummy. Eat this with rice and add another dish like bok choy dish, and you're pretty much eating a very healthy meal every day. Okay, I'm going to try this stir-fried red pepper that I made. Mmm, just right, juicy, not mushy, crunchy, and yeah, tastes pretty good.